Hello there, everyone. Shoes here. This Irish Life. It's been going on a long time now. We're back on part 3, episode 8. We're talking about St. Patrick. I should totally add it in there to the front. It will be done. But this episode 8, is a St. Patrick episode. And we've been looking at him and we've been following him around the country and we've been asking what was St. Patrick doing in the canal civilization? And who was St. Patrick is the question that we'll be asking, and we'll be proposing a couple of different answers from the journey. We left off in part 2 with the Mam Turk Mountains. Patrick ascended this, but in observing the watery expanse of South Connemara, he did what most of us might have declined. And he did what most of us might have and declined to go further. So he went a certain distance and he stopped, apparently. So he ascended this, and then he looked at the expanse of South Connemara, and then he stopped. Strong pilgrim tradition was created that he blessed Connemara from the pass while conveniently keeping his feet dry. Maugham proves an enjoyable day, a pleasant walk bearing many resonances bearing many resonances from Ireland's Christian past. They are all unusual signatures of pilgrimage. So pilgrimages, I'll tell you, those pilgrimages, they're walking along the top of walls. I can guarantee you that. Pilgrimages is wall walking. I've said it before and I say it again. The walkways of today, whether they be in forests or up mountains or through bogs, the walkways are either on top of walls or they are within two walls, like a pathway with masonry either side generally. So let's have a look at the Mam Turk Mountains, will we? Mam Aturk, was it? Mam Turk. Mam Turk Mountains. Let's go for Ilion West. So the Mam Turk Mountains, another scene of carnage awaits us. And we drop in and we see more mounds of muck. And we look in the Burren. This is the Burren region now. Like as I was saying, it is the Burren region, isn't it? Galway, Shannon's, and Connemara. So Connemara is a barren enough spot, like a lot of bogs. So these are the Mam Turk Mountains. Where's Connemara? This is Connemara National Park. So Connemara. So it says here, fantastic, right? So it says here, St. Patrick came and he blessed Connemara from the pass, right? So, like Connemara National Park. So this is all Connemara. So I wonder is, like he came over here, like these are all forts as well. I mean, I'm looking over here, and there's quite a. This is definitely worth a look, I'd say. This landscape here is very undulating. So St. Patrick was around here. Based on what we know, we're saying that these are likely all piles of dirt sitting on top of either star fort structures or even ziggurat-like structures. So the Mam Turk Mountains, So these obviously, like this here now, like, come on, no, John, stop me slow. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, right, that's one level of the fort. So imagine this is concrete, okay? Imagine this is limestone. Imagine it's marble. Imagine it's white marble, shining white marble all around here. Shining white marble forts in the shapes of stars that terraced up into the sky. Very possibly, excuse me, very possibly with like cathedrals or Greco-Roman buildings on top of them here as well. Very possible. And then these are, we're looking at them from the point of view of they are the main wells. So the wells that feed the canal cities. So I'm wondering, so if these were wells, so there seems to be definitely more concentrations of these in certain places. And the wells themselves, they were wells of all types, I imagine. So not just for water, but mining wells. Like, I know there's all sorts of wells. Wells are used for all sorts, like oil, although oil is only just below the surface, by the looks of it. So these wells, like, there's all sorts. So whatever spewed out of these wells here seems to have caused a very rock solid finish, right? You look at this, that buffer there now. So what we tend to see in other areas of the country is that it's a lot of dirt lying around the place. But in these ones, the really big ones, they must have been pulling some serious stuff out of the ground, these wells. They must have been doing some hard work. Gigantic star well. Have we got, just for a comparison, would be nice. Just see. What I'm looking for here is a picture of a fort. It was in here, wasn't it? Yeah. So imagine this, but big, really big. Okay, so that's kind of like that. They kind of look the same, you know. It's covered in sand, this is covered in concrete, but they kind of look the same. And then imagine this, like this, right? Or this. Like, from a shape perspective, there's definitely some similarities. So we're in the Mamluchurk Mountains, isn't it? Is that where we are? And you came up here, and it's Connemara National Park, and it's the Burren, and it's all concreted out, and it's all just muck. Isn't that fabulous resolution? Is that a person? Is that buffer again there now, I wonder? No way. Like, that is in close. How close can you get? Can I get that close? like that's the mix. Like, is that are they lakes up there? Am I that close or that far away? I thought I was quite close there. No, are they lakes up there? Lakes in the top, in the very top of the mountain. Um, Look at this little spot here. Like, once again, it's kind of star shaped. This here, like, multiple drops. um, So the Mam Turk Mountains by this lake here, which is Loch Nothing. Is this a lake? This is Loch Corrib. So Loch Corrib, and this is where Dún Bress was. So we were down here before. We've looked down here. And we're looking at it again. I think we looked up here. This is where all of the islands are. So all the 3,000 islands, or whatever they said, or 1,300 islands. Loch Mask. Are we looking at it from a different point of view? Where was I there? Oh no, yeah, that's Loch Corrib. Oh, so Galway's down there. So Dún Bress. Oh, so we looked over here. This is where we looked. We looked at the bottom, and we looked a bit over here. And these were all fortifications. And now we're over here. So St. Patrick was over here. Patrick had business over in the Mamturk Mountains. And he came over and he blessed it. And then he said, that's grand. And he carried on along his merry way. And the map is upside down here. So south is down here for anyone who's probably lost. I'm just not turning it around. Like, look down here then. Like, this is a serious region. Like Delphi, I went here as a young lad. I think I was in one of these lakes. Kayaking. I always like to go back there again, but not until the other day did I realise what these were. It's insane, isn't it? What's that lad there? What's this? Is that? Oh, Croagh Patrick is in this area too, right? So he was over here. His mount is named after him. This one is the one on the coast. So it's almost like he came over and he blessed them. Is this what blessed means? He blessed Connemara. Is that what it was? Is that what blessing was? Is that the new? Do we have a new understanding for blessing? If you get blessed, you basically get your whole thing shitted on. Was it happening separately or did it all happen together? Was it like one by one? How did the flooding happen? How did the wells blow? Did they all blow together? Did they not all blow together? I like the idea of somebody opened up, somebody senior blew the whole lot. I also like the idea that she did it out of love. I was thinking of this because I was like, it's fairly hardcore. And we're discussing all of this. And obviously, we, like living in Ireland, you would always have a sense for the supernatural, I think. As an Irish person, it seems to kind of, I think with a lot of Irish people, we have a bit of an affinity with the lore and with the history and with the Ogham. I personally do, and I know a lot of other people who do. And the language, I have a graph for the language as well. So I think that it's a good thing to be looking into it, and that I think that if she did it, if Eru did it, she'd want us to probably know that there was good reasons behind it, because I have a feeling that the world that was there wasn't that great. Like, coming back to the wild, the most extreme example of them all, like when you can heal, when you can't die, like in Slane, they're talking about that, the healing well. And if these were all, like if lots of people had healing wells, then then you can keep coming back. You don't have to die. And like I think something about the abbeys, there's something seriously fishy about the abbeys relating to the healing. They are they just look ready made for it. If you were to draw a sci-fi movie and make it Celtic style, that would be it. So whatever reason she did it, or he did it, maybe it was required. It was a reset. It had to happen. The place was just a mess. Like, we're talking about minotaurs as well now in this time. We're talking about genetic engineering. We're talking about serious technology on every level, like about as advanced as you think you could get. Like, this canal civilization seemed to, they had it down. We are in the Stone Age right now. Like, we went to the Stone Age when their canal world ended. It may have started off as like a nature civilization, day one, with giant trees, but the trees came down and the stars went everywhere. And then the stars basically exploded because they're all wells, and all the wells exploded and spewed everything all over the land. Sometimes it was mud, sometimes it was like a concrete structure, sometimes it was bog, sometimes it was sand, sometimes it seemed it was possibly stone, like ragged, sharp bits of stone in the mountainous regions. But it seems like the full landscape is covered in the stars, and that when they let loose the wells, they ended that world, and they did it. I'd imagine for good reason. You'd hope for good reason, because why would you, like, would you think, like, bringing nature back could be a whole thing and bringing the chaos of it? But they were very well in control, I'd say, of nature, and they understood the ohm, they understood the cycles, they understood what was happening with nature and how to use herbs, how to command nature, like they could command the weather, things like that. Is that all with the aid of the water? Is the water the key to all their powers? They understood how to command water in the ether, maybe. I don't know. So anyway, that's where St. Patrick took a trip to the Mamturks, which is here, Galway. This is where the battles took place, all here. I think it's fairly evident now the battles were taking place everywhere. They spoke about these battles here. And as you can see, the land is littered with kind of bog-like shapes. And I'm going to drop down maybe to one or two. I know we're on the Patrick Trail, but I'd like to see if this landscape is flat or not. We need to find some trees. Here's some trees. Trees are a great indicator to see if the land is flat or not. They kind of show the slope. It's great. Little trick. Yeah, like that buffer. This circle here, like. So let me see some trees here. This looks relatively flat, I would say. So down here we've got a big pattern. And like, I'd be thinking that now would be a dead ringer for something that's quite varied. It looks boggy. It is a bog essentially, but it's very flat. This is very, very flat. All this land here is very flat. So we're really seeing here that, like, so I suppose, like, look at that, like this bogland here. I suppose the natural landscape. So I'm thinking that when they came in, because what I've observed also is that they don't always go exactly by the stars. Maybe they do, and I'm just not seeing it because I'm not looking at it from above. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be any height on this one here. I can't get down it, or there is. Oh yes, I need to come in close, isn't it? So you can actually see, and this is starting to look like a familiar landscape now. It's a slight rise. It's a slight rise everywhere, and a slight fall then when you come out of the area. So on the plains, it's characterized by a slight rise and a slight fall. In the mountains, it's a very stark, massive well, or a fortress, or a ziggurat. I don't even know what's under them. I don't know what's under. I just have this. It just makes sense that there's something under those mountains and that they are wells of some sort, and that the wells exploded. These wells, the wells that became bogs, they were pulling something out that was bog related. And they were pulling it out with the help of water. So the combination of the water and the mining, and they lived in these star worlds. And they're all arrogant and arguing with each other. Giants, all giving out to each other. I'm the best giant. No, I'm the best giant. You know, and the whole place goes flipping blop. So, it's enough of that. Right, that was the Mam Turks. Patrick went to the Mam Turks and he had a jolly time there. I'm going to just get back here. I'm going to set this up the right way. The Star of Ireland. Right. So next, where else did Patrick go? He went to Tucker in County Mayo. Lace up the hiking boots, following the ancient royal road from Rathcrone, another Crone, there's something about Crone as well, the royal seat of Connacht, I think that could be Cruachan. Tucker Podrick, that's right, Tucker Podrick, or St. Patrick's Causeway, leads to Ireland's holy mountain, holding many resonances from its pagan origins. It was Christianized by Patrick. So Patrick Christianized the rock. So once again, he blessed it, and did Patrick put piles of dirt? Is that what blessing was? Did Patrick bless the Hill of Slane with his fire and brimstone? Is that what was happening? Like when you get blessed, it's not necessarily a good thing. Patrick is also, we saw in the earlier, I think the first part, we saw that he's equated with the god of war. So he, the god of war makes a bit of war. So Tucker Podrick. So where is it? Tucker Podrick. Patrick leads to Ireland's holy mountain. So, Tucker. So it is the walk, is this? Is Tucker a walk? It's 35 kilometres. So this is similar to the walk from Cruachan, I think, to Croagh Patrick. Do we have? No, we don't have Cruachan here, do we? It was in the area of Killala, I remember. It's the area of Cruachan is Killala, so we're just going to go straight into Killala. So Patrick was a slave, they say, in Killala at one stage. Maybe he was, maybe he was enslaved. But was he this? He was the slave that came good, and he dumped dirt on everyone by the looks of it. He dished the dirt. St. Patrick dished the dirt, and the snakes went away. So this is the area of Cruachan. Cruachan, they used to march. Cruachan was the seat of power of Connacht, so it must have been up here, all here, this area. This is Killala, with all these abbeys, and this was the seat of the power of Connacht, and it got obliterated, obviously. There's a lake here. What's the lake called? There's all sorts going on in that lake now, I'm sure. Magical lake. Loch Con. And there's something on Loch Con that I've tagged on it. There is something on it. Eru Abbey is on Loch Con. So this is the ancient seat of power of Connacht. So Connacht is over here. Connacht is this area here. So this was the seat of power. Patrick came over here, caused a lot of trouble by the looks of it, and he went from here over to Croagh Patrick, blessing everything. Is this Croagh Patrick? Croagh Patrick, yeah. So he blessed it all with dirt by the looks of it. Or not dirt, actually. This is, we'll have one final look at this area. We're going to zoom down into it to see if we can have a look. Good. Like, it's like concrete. It's literally concrete. It's just, like, look at this. And then you can see the shapes in the concrete. There is full, and this area has limestone caverns as well. So limestone caverns are obviously the rooms of these forts that are now turned to limestone. Stalagmites is just the water dripping down through the lime, which is actually concrete. So, like, this is a mind blow altogether. I haven't even looked at this. I just came back down here by chance, and look at it, like, look at that landscape. It's just, it literally is like someone just pulled the plug and let the whole thing flow. So that, I suppose, actually, now that I mentioned pull the plug and let the whole thing flow, where is the plug? Like, that little thing there looks very odd, doesn't it? What's that? From oil. Look at Ben Bulbin there in the background. Look at that. That is epic. All these, imagine all of these fortresses. All. You follow me? I'm up in the top right here. All of these over here. Oh, look at this. This is just, as you could screenshot that as, like, imagine that now, all starred up, absolutely starred out of it. The whole area. It's amazing that you can do that. So this is the area of St. Patrick, and I'm blown away by this. I really am. I'm blown away by some of this here, really. I mean, is this bog here? Let's go in here close, see if you can get like that. Doesn't look like bog. Like, they're mining some limestone here, so they're mining, once again, they're mining the star. That's what they're breaking up. It's the star. It's the paving. It's the blocks. Mining limestone. We're mining the old walls to rebuild. I don't know what that is. It's just dirt, is it? But this is not dirt. This is solid. As far as I'm aware, this is all solid. Is it not? Let's have a look at this. This is worth a look from the ground, I'd say. Look at that. You would just throw rubbish there. Look at these structures here. Go walking in the mountains. Have a walk. Amazing. So, is this the burn? Which is where I think I am. And maybe I'm not. The burn is lower in Clare, but it's the same type of thing. So this is not the burn. The burn is here. Limestone. So this is where all of the just have to have a quick look at the burn. Huge area of limestone lakes and cliffs. Like this is all like concrete, just everywhere, and that's common. You see that almost in the cities too. Father Ted's house, no way. Is that the real Father Ted's house? Remember Father Ted? Great show. The Burren Holy Well, so like this, so there's a holy well here. Now that should be interesting. Let's This is the holy well. Give us a look at the holy well. Oh, look at that. Is that paving? It's just cracked, just gigantic paving. Like, is that what this actually is? It's the paving of the fortress that has gone all weird. Like, look at this. This was a wall. Just devastation, just giant blocks, old walls crushed everywhere. This here, like another, like this is obviously a fort again. Not a fort, it's a well. It's a holy well. This is the holy well. It's a holy well here on top of the fort. So we are now going to say, if there's 3,000 holy wells apparently in Ireland, does that mean there's 3,000 of these fortifications? And if we followed all the holy wells, would we get close to all of the forts? I am going to probably find one or two wells, but I won't be finding that many. Like, there's a lot of wells associated with St. Patrick, funnily enough, which might be good to do that now and have a look for some of Patrick's wells. I had Patrick's wells up here, didn't I? I did indeed. So we're going to find the well, we're going to find the list of the wells. So here we have it. So I want to find a well. So there's Patrick's Well Lane, a well in Drogheda where St. Patrick opened a monastery. So we could go to that well. Or there is Patrick's Well, Tubberpottering in County Limerick. There's another, so that's, I know people who live in there. Patrick's Island, Kilpatrick, so Forest of Patrick, Patrick's Church. I'd say we're going to, let's go to Patrick's Well in Limerick. Let's type in Patrick's Well and see which one comes up first. Holy well. Like, that's pretty epic. Now there's a holy well just in the middle of the burn going down. But the burn, another, like the whole civilization, once again, I'm even trying to continue to wrap my head around it. Like, I'm finally seeing what was mud flooded. I'm finally seeing what was flooded. I have always wondered, like, what is the infrastructure that's covered in dirt? What does it look like? And now we know what it looks like. And more even, is there a well in Patrick's Well? There is a well in Patrick's Well, but where is it? Where's the well? Do you know what? I actually know where the well is in Patrick's Well. Because I've been to Patrick's Well to see the people that I know in Patrick's Well. And I passed the well. So if I get my bearings for one moment, I went here and I actually went here and I got chips in this place here. I got a big massive bag of chips. It was unreal. And we got them on the way home actually that day. But before it, I walked up the road and there is a grotto at the top of the road. Where's the grotto now? Apologies, you just have to bear with me for a moment. Post office. Find the Wild Guard station. I'm going to pause it there for 1 second and I'm going to find this. So here is the well in Patrick's Well. This is Patrick's Well. I passed it. I stood by this well. I walked in. I had a look. I was like, oh, well, Patrick's Well. That's interesting. I remember it. So this is what we're told. So there's 3,000 of these apparently in Ireland. They say 3,000 wells. And we saw that there in an earlier episode. I brought it up, little piece, little blurb. So if there's a well here, this is Patrick's Well. So let us scoot back up into the sky and take a look at what this looks like from the sky. And well done. Wonder is that why it's called well done. Where were we there now? We're going to fly up. So this is the center point. So we want to see, is this raised up? And here we've got trees growing on the hillside as usual, which is usually a giveaway. So each star, and this actually makes sense even in my own area now, I'm living on top of a star. And I know I have a well. Would you believe there is a well in my estate? Oh my God, it's just hilarious. There's a well in my estate. They put a little nice little roof on it. That well we just looked at there doesn't have a roof on it. It's just like an old school. I can't remember the detail of the well. We might get some pictures of it there in a minute. But that's mad. So I'm actually on top of a fort. I'm on top of. That's where I live. I'm putting myself. I live on a hill. There's another hill opposite me, and it's terraced. That's mad. It makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense altogether. So the well is on top of the fortification, maybe even towards the center of it, because that would make sense. But that's the well, and then this is the very slight increase in the land. You see it rises up gently. I mean, you can barely see it. Get a bit closer. Like you can usually see the trees allow you to see the dip, so it's slightly raised. I live actually on quite a high hill. Interesting. So That's very cool. Very cool altogether. So I'd say like you couldn't make out that, but like there's a fort under here somewhere. Look at this. Like where is? I can't believe I've lost Patrick's Well. There it is. So there's the well. You've got a big race course here. Like what's that under? Like they just turn these things into such oddities. All of this is slightly lower, and this is a bit higher. So Patrick's Well, there's a well for St. Patrick. St. Patrick was around here. He was in this area. He was getting things done. It'd be interesting to look for those parallel patterns. I found that intriguing in this, like in this. It's not this one, is it? It is. I just find them amazing. The woe lines. It's like, wow, man. So where else did Patrick go? Where did he go? I knew this was going to be a multi-part episode. There's just so much to get through. I think that we're done with the journeys of Patrick. I think that was a nice end to it. The wells, and there's something about the wells. There's probably some mansion around here. There's probably a couple of ruins. It's probably an abbey. What pictures have I got of Patrick's Well? What have they got on the Patrick's Well pictures? I need to bring that menu out, I suppose. Photos of Patrick's Well. What's that? What is that? The top of a church? Some serious pictures. Nice one. No pictures of anything. Oh, look, the Big Dipper. Nice. No pictures. So we're going to continue with a few more parts with St. Patrick. He is going to continue to be a major part of the series because it is St. Patrick series. I'm going to map places. Need to get out of here fast. And this seems to be the quickest way. I'm just about getting the hang of it now. We're going 1,000,000 episodes in. So we're going to carry on and look at, so Cashel Tipperary, that's another place we looked at that. Moman, Ardpatrick in Limerick, which is probably close to here. So Limerick, we're not in the Limerick area, but it's giving us an idea of, like, he visited all the places around these areas, you know. Ardpatrick. And they're all called after him, you know. Ardpatrick Hill, you know, another fortification that Patrick went to. And I think the point has been made at this stage, like Ardpatrick Church and monastic site. So let's deep dive right down there. Ardpatrick is over here. So there's probably a well here somewhere as well, I'm sure. Ardpatrick Church and monastic site. Get a couple of pictures in there quickly. Devastation and carnage, graveyard, you know, super healing centers. Just everything obviously is broken down now. It's the same, it's limestone again, or formerly, was it like a crystal and it all split? Look at these here, just early Christian monastic settlement. Sure it was. So that's our Patrick Church. And here we see some woodlands, which is always good. So usually the church or the abbey is on top of a hill of some sort. Oh, look. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm looking the wrong way. Look at this. Look at the size of this one. Get this out of the way. Get out of the way. Quilta have done a fantastic job here. What we're looking at. Ardpatrick, another gigantic fortress. Could be a mountain, like this is like actually like Fermoy, just outside Fermoy. So now I know what I'm looking at. There's a cross on top of the hill as well. So I think that a lot of these places, like they have crosses on top of them as well. And the crosses are actually like parts of the buildings that were on top of these fortifications or these fortresses or these mega fortresses. So here we're looking at another mega fortress. I don't know what mountain range it is. It must be a mountain range. It has to be mountains. This is the Ballyhores. Well, I'll be. Ballyhores is a mountain range that I visited many times, and I may be going there very soon. And there is a little huts at the top of it. I've been to the top of the Ballyhores, so Cork is here. It's where I live. It's mad. My mind is just like, even when I see them, there's just so many of them. Like all the mountains are these gigantic fortifications. It's just mind blowing, man. And they look like it, and they have all the signs of it. They've got caves. Like we've got the Mitchelstown Caves. There's a cave system, Mitchelstown Caves. Like what happened to those places? Like how did they get so? Like there's definitely mining going on. Like they were mining within them. They'd opened them up inside, and there are the entrances to the under parts of the world. Is that what it is? That they were just like access points to the other world. You could get to the other world, maybe like these are big. And they're talking about fairy mounds. So they say that like the Tuatha Dé Danann, they went into the mounds. So like is it that like the gods used to be around and then they got banished after the mud cataclysm into the underworld? Maybe that's where the underworld was. It was in these, like if you go down through one of these mega fortresses, you'll end up in all sorts of weird and wild adventures. Like you want to go to the underworld, you head over to Segus as well. Head over to Patrick's Well. You head to Patrick's Well and you knock on the door. There's a door here. They talk about like the dwarves living in the mountains. Like now we can kind of get like living in the mountains. Yeah, like the mountains are or were mega structures. Mega structures. It's 50 minutes. Whew. Pretty wild. So, with that being said, we are going to probably finish this one soon enough. We're going to look at this, see what else I have here. What else have I got? That's the route of, we said that. It's from Killala, going from Killala to Croagh Patrick. Loch Derg, we looked at that. That's a Donegal. Loads of islands in it. Armagh City. Armagh and Macha. Vaca. Armagh. Yeah. So Armagh and Vaca are twinned. So here once again you have the link with we've got Patrick linked to a city that has Macha, who is the Morrigan or one of the Morrigan, the triple goddess. And then you've got Patrick, who could then be the son / who has his mother as his lover. And that story, that's linked in again. They seem to be the central point of the story over and over again. Downpatrick, we looked at that. That's just another gigantic fort. We looked at that at the start. It's on the edge of Ireland. Just another gigantic fortress. We looked at it. Down Cathedral. The angel then returned and decreed Patrick's body be placed on an ox cart and buried where the oxen stopped. What's this? The Irish annals relate that when close to death, Patrick was told by an angel to return to his original landing place at Saul. Having come full circle, he died here on 17th of March 461. The angel then returned and decreed Patrick's body be placed on an ox cart and buried where the oxen stopped. This is in Downpatrick, in Down Cathedral. Well, we're definitely going to have a quick look at that before we go, I think. Down Cathedral, yeah. He didn't come down to Cork at all, St. Patrick. Which is interesting. Down Cathedral. St. Patrick's grave. So they say this is where he's buried, Down Cathedral. Interesting. This is where his star fort is buried. Maybe it did not happen at once. Look at the shapes. It's just beyond obvious at this stage, isn't it? Down Cathedral. Let's have a look inside Down Cathedral. I'm not so worried about the outside at the moment. We've looked at plenty of outside masonry, and a little bit of inside would be nice now. And these insides are usually pretty majestic, and it's nice to end on them, isn't it? Look at this, like he is 6 to 12 feet up out of the ground, and so is this lad. Look at this. This is a beast of a thing. Whew. So this was the top of Patrick's fort. Him and the Morrigan. Looks like they had this place at some stage, but it looks like Patrick had every place there for a finish, didn't he? Gigantic organ. So organs is something that the canal civilization used a lot. Lots with organs. Lots of organs everywhere. They seem to use sound and also the patterns. These things here as well had some sort of a weird, had some sort of a technological purpose. Not necessarily weird, just a purpose that we don't necessarily understand. A lot of wood inside here. Like these are fancy windows. This is Patrick's Cathedral. Old or new? You'd have to ask the question. I thought we might get some nicer inside photos than that there now. Oh, it looks like it's become a venue now. With the new, look at that, like that is amazing. Look at these windows. That is epic. Very cool. All the lads. The lads. There's the cathedral overlooking everything. This is it inside. It's fairly unassuming, I must say. Have they just painted everything up? Is it just all been white painted? Like that looks like white paint. I'd say it used to be majestic and they've just painted everything white. That's what they've done, really. I bet you these columns used to be beautiful. This actually looks a lot like, no, it doesn't, now that I think of it. What's going on here? Bit of an old story. Look at these windows. He's like, hey, I'm over here. Like, no, I don't trust you, man. He's like, it's okay. Very, very impressed with the windows and like these details. If you've never seen these up close, you totally should. Time, how are we looking? 55. It's time to go, I'd say. What else have we got before we go? We've got some weird thing on the wall. Two faces. These windows. This could have been an abbey for all we know. Big, massive, thick walls. Real original metal work, probably all covered in dirt. This is a big box that's 12 feet, 6 to 12 feet into the ground, a couple of meters down. This is original. These were around all the graves in all the old graveyards, you see them. It's extremely common. So I'd say we're going to end it there. We're going to finish the journey in Downpatrick, and we're going to be back with part 4. And I don't know how far we're going to get, but we're going to get somewhere. So thanks again for watching and coming on the journey. And yeah, I'll see you there in the next one. Fantastic. Think good thoughts. Boom. Back in the net.